Good evening, everyone. Yes, we can start with a round of applause. We got them all here. I'm sure it's been a big journey for all of you, so we are so grateful that you made some time out of your evening to be here with us. Good evening, everyone. My name is Monica Martinez. I am the proud executive director of the Laredo Chamber of Commerce, and we are proud to be your host for this evening's candidate forum. The Laredo Chamber of Commerce is proud to host tonight's forum as part of our ongoing commitment to civic engagement and informed decision-making. This event is strictly nonpartisan, educational, and for understanding the candidates' positions on business. The Chamber does not, nor will we, endorse any candidate as a result of this forum or any subsequent forum for any public office. We do leave that up to you, our intelligent and estimable business partners, to decide. This event serves solely as a neutral convener, providing voters with the opportunity to hear directly from the candidates and better understand their perspectives on key issues affecting Webb County. This evening's forum will follow a structured, moderated format. All participating candidates will receive equal speaking time, and strict time limits will be enforced using a visible timing system which is directly in front of them. Candidates are asked to respond directly to the questions posed by the moderator. To be fair to all candidates, we will rotate who goes first on each question. This ensures that no one candidate consistently has the advantage of answering first or last. We do expect a professional and respectful exchange throughout the program. Personal attacks, interruptions, inflammatory language, or questioning the character or motives of other candidates is not permitted. The moderator has full authority to redirect the discussion or halt responses if necessary to maintain fairness, decorum, and consistency. No campaign materials or campaigning is allowed in the forum room, including signage, handouts, apparel, or demonstrations. We also ask the audience members and campaign supporters to remain respectful and refrain from disruptions so that all candidates have an equal opportunity to be heard. Please note that this forum is being live streamed and recorded by the Laredo Chamber of Commerce YouTube and our partners at KGNS. The official recording may be shared in full and unedited on the Chamber's website, social media platforms, and with media outlets for informational purposes. And we do encourage you to engage with us. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our moderator for this evening, Mr. Eddie Aldrete. He is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Aldrete Strategic Partners. Mr. Aldrete brings extensive experience in public policy, government relations, and strategic advisory work at the local, state, and national levels. He has advised both public and private sector leaders on complex policy issues and is widely respected for his thoughtful, balanced, and nonpartisan approach to facilitating meaningful dialogue. We appreciate Mr. Aldrete's willingness to serve as the moderator this evening and to help guide a fair, informative, and respectful discussion. At this time, I will turn the program over to our moderator.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Monica. And thank you to the Laredo Chamber of Commerce for being a convener and bringing the candidates together to talk about some various serious issues that are facing Webb County. We're going to begin with opening statements, which will serve as each candidate's introduction. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to introduce themselves and briefly explain why they are seeking the office of Webb County Judge. Please keep your remarks focused on your background and your priorities. As Monica mentioned, campaign slogans and personal attacks and references to other candidates are not permitted. So we're excited to have all of you here. Before we begin, I'd like to briefly review the format so that expectations are clear and consistent for everyone. Each candidate will have, after your 90-second opening remarks to the moderated questions, each candidate will have 75 seconds to respond to each question. And if at any point any of you would like to have the question repeated, just say so, and I will gladly honor that request, and the repeating of the question does not take away from your time. We appreciate the cooperation of all the candidates in keeping responses concise and focused so that we can cover as many important topics as possible with our allotted time. So we are going to start with opening comments. We chose in random order, Jerry Garza going first, Ms. Elizondo second, Mr. Reyes third, and Mr. Benavides fourth. So Mr. Garza, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Eddie. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to thank the Laredo Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity to be here. I want to start off with a little story. A couple of months ago, I had an opportunity to be with a friend of mine. We were in his car, and the topic of politics came up, and we started talking about James Carville, Democratic strategist. And he goes, he's a friend of mine. And I, of course, didn't believe him until he actually got him on the phone in his car, and we had an opportunity to talk to James Carville. But it reminded me of the saying that he said 30 years ago during the presidential election. And of course, I'll paraphrase it just because I don't want anything to be taken out of context later, but it's the economy, silly. Now, if you're someone who is struggling to pay bills, if you're someone who's struggling to put food on the table, if you're a business owner who's struggling to make payroll or to keep your doors open, or if you're someone who is struggling to find adequate work, nothing else matters because everything else becomes secondary. And that's why my focus throughout this entire campaign has just been very simple. It's about your family, your finances, and your future, because that's what we all care about. And that's what we talk about. It's about creating a Webb County that creates opportunity, provides hope. And my career has been just about that, about helping others. And I for your support.
Thank you. Ms. Elizondo.
Hello. Hi, good evening. My name is Karina Elizondo. I am a proud resident of Webb County. I have a master's degree and I have 20 years of experience in public service. Specifically, my master's degree is in public administration, and the Webb County Judge position will do that and more. Not only do I bring education to the table, but also I'm a business owner like many of you all. I understand the struggles and everything that it takes to bring something from the ground up. After you hear our answers or during this debate, I want you to think beyond what it's been said. I want you to think about other important factors such as character and ideologies, because every single one of us have different characters and ideologies. And this race is extremely important because it is a position that will dictate the future of this county, and we deserve better, and we deserve someone that understands the needs of every single one of you. And I am that person. I am a mother, I am a friend, I am a sister, and I'm a business owner, and I'm looking forward to participate today in this event. Thank you.
Mr. Reyes.
Yes. Good evening, and thank you to the Laredo Chamber of Commerce for not only hosting today's event, but also thank you to every business owner, to every employee, community leader, but most importantly, our taxpayers for keeping Webb County moving forward. My name is Raul Reyes. I've served our county for more than 2 decades, starting as a young community organizer and volunteer, later as mayor of the city of El Cenizo for 14 years, and for the last 7 years as your proud Webb County Treasurer and Investment Officer. I'm running for Webb County Judge because I believe Webb County is in a defining moment. It is a moment that requires someone with steady leadership, someone with integrity, with professionalism, and someone who will be held accountable to you, to your family, to every single person in Webb County. You know, my approach is very different. I am a people's person. I believe in people-first leadership. And what does that mean? It's putting you and your family front and center in every decision that county government makes. It is about building a stronger economy and looking for better jobs, efficient government and lower cost, safe and stronger communities and opportunities for every family, not just a select few. Over the course of this forum, I humbly ask that you take into consideration our questions and make your best judgment.
Thank you. Mr. Benavides.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm C.Y. Benavides III, and I'm happy that the Chamber of Commerce was able to put this together at such a beautiful setting and bringing what I call to be the most important thing that's happening in this community, and that's unifying our public. That common ground effort is what I based my entire life about. I've been working for decades to put people together, and by putting people together, we can create things. If you all feel today that your county government is running the way it should be, then you should vote for somebody else. But if you truly believe and have a vision that there is a potential for change and that leadership requires bold moves, then I'm your guy. And I will work diligently to be supportive and caring to all people. No matter your demographics, no matter your pocketbook. If we want to talk about change, if we want to talk about a future, it requires new leadership that has the vision to change.
Thank you. So now we're going to begin the series of moderated questions. And again, each response will be 75 seconds. The first topic is economic development. Cities have traditionally led economic development efforts. However, companies now are increasingly looking at regions rather than cities. A prime example of that was Tesla's decision to move to the Austin region. However, they located their manufacturing plant outside the city limits of Austin, with Travis County playing a key role in assembling the incentive package that was able to secure the project. As county judge, how would you use the tools and authority of the county to support major economic development opportunities for this region? Ms. Elizondo, I'll start with you.
Hello? Okay. Yesterday I was interviewed by Miguel Amante, and he asked, what is the most critical issue in the county? And even though there's numerous issues that we can spend hours talking about, it is economic growth. The slow economic growth in our county, it's a big issue. And I respond because it's a domino effect, because it impacts the scarcity of jobs that are in our county, the low-paying jobs. And in contrast to the high-raising taxes, if I get elected, I promise to work diligently to support business owners. Like I stated earlier, I'm a business owner, but I also work at the city of Laredo helping new businesses with their new business application. And to my surprise, the statistics of the numerous businesses that fall through the cracks because bureaucracies, it's high. And that can be prevented. There's a lot of things that we can do to prevent those. We can talk about big corporations and other big monsters, but we need to focus on small businesses because that's what keeps Webb County strong. Every single individual that owns a business or is employed with a business makes Webb County strong. I am committed to assign one individual to...
It's okay. Mr. Garza.
Economic development is not a one-size-fits-all. Economic development needs to be for everybody. I remember my time as Webb County Commissioner where I spent 8 years representing Precinct 3. And I remember talking to an individual one time when we were working on tax abatements for a company that was looking at coming into Webb County. And the one thing he told me, and I'll never forget this, is that why is all the incentives go to the real big guys. What about little guys like me? And it was from that moment on that I realized that economic development was not a one-size-fits-all. We need to have ability to work with all different types of businesses. But I will say this also, to Eddie's question, we are better together and we are stronger together. And it cannot be a one person leads, we all must lead, bringing the city, the county, and all of the areas together to be able to attract economic development. We are so close to the port of Corpus Christi and working with our partners in San Antonio, Port San Antonio, and in the Valley. If we leverage the best of all these areas and the resources of all of us, we will be a powerhouse and continue to grow, and we will all prosper.
Thank you. Mr. Benavides, again, I just want to repeat the last part of the question. As county judge, how would you use the tools and authorities of the county to support major economic development opportunities for the region?
Well, obviously, the county judge is the agent that has the ability to communicate in Austin and Washington. That's going to be critical. But let's be clear. If we don't supply proper water, proper infrastructure, and quality of life issues that matter, nobody is coming to Laredo, Texas. Laredo, Texas exists because it is a major transportation hub. We need to focus on agreements that are currently being negotiated with USMCA and things of that nature. We need to stay focused on how to generate ourselves and be known as the port of the United States of America at Laredo. And as your judge, working with our commissioners, we will focus that effort in a way that makes sense. True sound government through proper change. Again, we need change. That's why I'm here.
Mr. Reyes, again, what tools would you use of the counties to bring economic development opportunities?
Thank you so much for that question. And I started the campaign, and I've been the only candidate who actually talks about the need for regional collaboration and regional leadership. It is very important for a county as ours to not only be at the forefront of collaboration, but also strengthening our relationship with our municipal counterparts, no matter if it's the city of Laredo or the rural areas, the cities of El Cenizo, Rio Bravo, the rural areas out in the colonias, because every single person in our county makes up our county. Look, reality is that the judge isn't going to be able to do this alone. It requires steady leadership. It requires sound collaboration. It requires reaching out and ensuring that we not only talk about all these, mechanisms, but that we start working with our Chamber of Commerce, that we start working with the Laredo Economic Development Corporation, that we focus on establishing working relationships with our universities, our college, our school districts as well, because this is a regional collaborative effort. And we need to be able to be competitive against the San Antonio region, the Dallas-Fort Worth region, and even the RGV, who's far more advanced than we are.
Time.
We need to start looking at real vision, not just make.
Thank you. All right. Our second question, Mr. Garza, I'm going to start with you. In Texas, roughly 2/3 of all workforce funding is directed towards childcare. While access to childcare is extremely important and critical, many argue that long-term poverty reduction also requires expanding access to high-paying jobs. As county judge, what changes or what strategies would you pursue to help grow high-paying jobs to create lasting economic prosperity in our region?
We are the largest inland port, but we have 40% poverty, one of the highest poverty rates of all the major ports in the country and in this hemisphere. That's unacceptable for Laredo. That's unacceptable for Webb County. That's unacceptable for all of us who are living here in Webb County. We need to leverage our position as the #1 port to be able to attract manufacturing jobs into our community. Less than 1% of our jobs right now are in manufacturing. We need to make sure that the trade that is crossing north, we are able to capture that. And whatever products need to be finished or whatever kitting needs to be done, that we can do it and assemble it right here in Webb County. FTZ 94 allows for free trade, no tariffs, no any type of cost as long as those products stay here in Webb County. That is a tremendous advantage to companies, and we need to be able to leverage that and attract them here to Webb County. If we can get those kinds of jobs here in Webb County, we can increase the types of jobs that have better salaries, better benefits, and to your point, be able to enhance that.
Thank you. Mr. Benavides.
I mean, it's clear what we have to do. It's very, very simple. How to make ourselves more competitive as a port. That's it. Because guess what? We're number one, and we have been forever for one simple reason. It's a geographic location. And despite how we work our company, we've been able to continue being that number one. Imagine if we have creativeness put together so that that future can evolve. Think about this. Connecting my Camino Colombia toll road to Bridge 4-5. That's the kind of leadership I'm talking about. Real, impactful, futuristic, modern, and to the point, beneficial, that will create real jobs in this community. That's experience that I bring to the table today. I don't have to read about it in a book. I am the encyclopedia of understanding transportation. And I will expand transportation and therefore economically impact this community the way it should. And that's just the beginning. We'll start unfolding the future. Again, working with my
Thank you. Mr. Reyes, again, what changes or strategies would you pursue for lasting economic prosperity?
Well, thank you so much for the question, and it's kind of, interesting that one of the candidates continues to showcase or talk about, his leadership and his vision. But reality is that when you start focusing on the real issues of our future with respects to economy, I've been the only candidate who has been advocating and talking about good paying jobs of the future. Right, utilizing our strength as a global powerhouse in terms of trade and logistics, ensuring that we do more to advance logistic techs, supply chain analytics, making sure that we have warehousing automated maintenance, and bringing in more healthcare industries, and so many other different type of industries that will not only provide those economic jobs that our families so desperately need. But look, being a gateway isn't enough if it doesn't reach every neighborhood in our county. And that's the reason why I'm running, and that's the reason why my plan details and setting out to bring sustainable, good-paying jobs.
Thank you. Ms. Elizondo.
Okay, it was how am I going to grow high-paying jobs, right?
Yes.
So I see it in two ways. One, for existing businesses, it is important that we inject grants or give them initiatives, because employers are who pay those employees, right? So we need to give them initiatives to keep those, to pay a little bit, to pay more. And also it is important to bring investors into Laredo and Webb County as a whole, because they will change the way we do things. You mentioned Tesla. Tesla is a perfect example. Can you imagine if we're able to secure such an immense leader or companies in our county? That will be magnificent. And I think that we, as a Webb County judge, needs to focus into making Webb County more attractive for those companies and for those existing business. There's a lot we can do. The county judge can do a lot, and that's by supporting them with grants or any initiatives and projects to help them grow, because they are already here and we need to support them.
Thank you. Next, we're going to move to infrastructure. In October of 2024, South Webb Bridge Company received the presidential permit to construct and operate the new international bridge that we now know as Bridge 45, which is an infrastructure project intended to expand trade capacity, reduce congestion, and strengthen Webb County's role in international commerce. Webb County is partnering with South Webb, the bridge developer and the owner of the adjoining property, and the county will have an ongoing role in the development of the nearly 4,000-acre tract. If elected, how do you assess the importance of this project, and what specific steps would you take to ensure its successful completion and effective oversight? And we will start with you, Mr. Benavides.
Well, I'm the only candidate that's been talking about this for some time now. And obviously, at the end of the day, it's about dollars. Where we can bring dollars to invest in our transportation infrastructure, that's the name of the game. That's why I'm the transportation leader. That's why the LMCA has supported me unanimously to be the person that will take the leadership to the next level. I've already spoken to our governor. I've already spoken to several members of the House at Congress. I've already spoken to the people that are going to make the decisions to be able to generate the billions of dollars of funding that will come into this community. That will give us the opportunity for us to protect your tax dollars, to give you those better paying jobs. I'm going to be the guy scrubbing inside Webb County to make sure that we protect every single one of those dollars. They get spent wisely, properly, with best guidance possible.
I'm sorry?
It's your,
Oh, it's my turn?
Yes.
All right. You know, again, so we go back to the need of ensuring that we have smarter coordination and collaboration and start thinking about development and infrastructure projects as a regional concept, not just as a geographical location. You know, the 4th, 5th Bridge has been something that when I started back in 2004 as mayor, was something that was brought up. And the idea seemed, you know, good, but then you also start thinking about the need of so many, the need of proper infrastructure and the chaos that it would create for the communities of El Cenizo and Rio Bravo who have to commute in a 2-lane road back and forth just to get in and out of those areas, right? You have a combined population of about 15,000 people there, not to mention the added traffic flow that is going to be transitioning through that area. So when you talk about future growth, you need to make sure that it accounts for responsible growth and that we have mechanisms in place that addresses real infrastructure.
Ms. Elizondo, the question is on Bridge 45. What specific steps would you take to ensure its successful completion and effective oversight?
To make sure it gets completed. We have been talking about this for a very, very long time, and this is what happens, specifically with many projects. They get stuck. That's why our government doesn't move forward, because you have different individuals, different entities that want to move different places. During this campaign, I have even heard that they intend to move that bridge to a different location. My commitment to you all is to make it happen, to grab the bull by the horns and to work with every single entity, including the city of Laredo. Dr. Tyler King, thank you for being present, to make things happen. We need to get it done because this is the biggest port of entry, Laredo, and we're very blessed to have access to this, and it is our responsibility to make it happen and stop talking about it. I will work diligently with every single stakeholder to make it happen. Thank you.
Mr. Garza.
Thank you. You know, I'd have some really major reservations about a transportation leader who builds a failed toll road and whose investors were left holding the bill and footing the bill for that failure. I will tell you that infrastructure is very important. In my time as Webb County Commissioner, we worked very hard with infrastructure. The work you're seeing right now on Loop 20 was work that was done by the Commissioner's Court when I served as Webb County Commissioner. We knew then that that roadway needed to have all of the traffic lights removed. And we got that removed, and that's what you're seeing here today. We were the Commissioner's Court that adopted a regional mobility authority that has prompted many projects now in northwest Webb County that is going to alleviate traffic on the Mines Road. We still have a lot of work to do, but we understand transportation. And we need to make sure that we are prepared for the growth that's going to happen with that bridge, and we need to get in front of it, because if not, we are going to have another Mines Road, and we cannot afford that.
Thank you. All right, you mentioned the word transportation, so we're moving to transportation. Mr. Reyes, we're going to start with you. At the Laredo Chamber Vision Conference on January the 27th, Texas Transportation Commissioner Alex Mead said that finding consensus is always harder than finding funding, noting that many projects fail to move forward because of local disagreements. He also said that as a commissioner, he will never choose between a mayor and a county judge. Given that the city of Laredo and Webb County do not always see eye to eye on projects, how would you work to build consensus and ensure that this region, the largest inland port in the United States, gets its fair share of transportation funding?
You know, I served as mayor for 14 years in a community that people didn't think much of. And during that time, we did so much in terms of improving our infrastructure, ensuring that we secured funding to not only improve the quality of life, but community development. And it happened through strategic partnership and collaboration. You know, it's true. There is something wrong. There's something wrong with the county and the city not working together. And it's time that we set those differences aside, because reality is that we saw it in the COVID pandemic. What happens in Webb County affects Laredo. What happens in Laredo affects Webb County. What happens in rural Webb County affects every single person, no matter if you're urban or rural. And this is the type of leadership that I'm talking about in terms of ensuring that people are placed in the decision-making process, that we have a plan to address every single aspect of county government. And you really do need a leader who understands county government, because you can hear all the other candidates just, comment on their solutions and their dreams, but if you don't know the core of county government, you won't get anything done.
Thank you. And just a reminder to all the candidates to keep your comments about your platform and your beliefs without attacking others. Ms. Elizondo.
I just said that it's very, very important to work with one another. Actually, Miguel Amante made the question about that as well. I think it is very, very important that we work with each other, and them showing up today, it speaks volumes. Like the council member who's here, and I believe there's another one there. We must work like a family. I know sometimes families fight, right? But sometimes that's where conversation starts, and it's important that we keep our feet on the ground and that we put our differences aside and we work for you, because whether you voted, you guys elected every single person in this county, whether it's at the school level, at the city level, or at the county level, and I am committed to working with every single one of them to make things happen, because we deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Garza.
Sometimes some of the biggest challenges we face are the easiest one to solve. Communication sometimes is one of the most difficult things that we can do. We used to have a saying in the newsroom there at KGNS is, we're in the business of communicating, but sometimes we're the worst communicators. When I was county commissioner, we created the City-County Intergovernmental Affairs Committee. The idea was to bring the city, the county, the school districts, and all the entities in Webb County that have a stake in our growth, that have a stake in our development, together at the same table to talk about the issues and the challenges that we're facing. And we were extremely successful because in those meetings, we were able to talk about the problems one was having and maybe the solutions that another had, or the resources that someone had. We brought a lot of projects came to light and came to fruition because we came to the table. I created the Intergovernmental Affairs Committee to be able to address those particular issues. And I want to bring that back because we all need to be at the table, and not just governmental entities, but the business community as well.
Thank you. Mr. Benavides.
By a show of hands, can everybody tell me, do you believe in following rules? Do we live in that world? Well, obviously the people that are on this stage that are men don't. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some serious issues here. And both of these individuals have been currently serving you in county government. And today, the constables don't talk to the sheriffs don't talk to the border patrol, the county government doesn't speak to the city. What does that tell you? Change is needed. Leadership's needed. You need somebody that has the experience, that has the communication skill, that is a registered lobbyist, that understands how to communicate with anybody and everybody. Because I am that common ground individual. I have the ability to speak in multiple language, civilly, professionally, and with importance. I treat every single person in this room or in this entire community or our entire country the same. We are all humans. We are all Americans.
Time.
That's our future.
So as a community, we can't move forward unless we move together. So I would remind all the candidates to focus on the issues so that all of us can move forward. Now, for this next question, Ms. Elizondo, I'm going to start with you. But actually, before I come to you, I'm going to start with the audience. Does anybody in this room care about access to health care? By way of applause. Okay, well, hopefully you will appreciate this question. According to the 2023 Laredo Community Health Needs Assessment, approximately 35% of Laredo residents reported traveling outside of Webb County to receive medical, dental, and mental health care. By nearly every measure, Laredo also faces a shortage of pediatric and specialty care services. Some argue that establishing a hospital district funded through local property taxes is necessary to build and sustain a county-owned and run hospital. Others contend that the focus should instead be on strengthening public-private partnerships to attract the specialists that our community needs without creating another taxing district. What do you believe is the best path forward to improve access to health care right here in Laredo and Webb County? Ms. Elizondo.
Private and public health they're both important. And health, it's very important to me. My father is a retired orthopedic surgeon, so I've seen it firsthand, the need that we have as a community. But also, I'm part of the statistics. 30% of Webb County residents do not have access to medical insurance. And that's the irony, right? That many of us live here. So as a county judge, I will work diligently to support both, because there are a lot of people that do not have the privilege, because it is a privilege based on the statistics to have access to health insurance. I will work diligently with the Webb County Public Health Department and also with the city of Laredo. I have heard many complaints in which the city of Laredo is carrying a lot of weight. So I need to sit down as the county judge, as your future county judge, and ask what can we do to help enhance the existing public access to medical health. And also with the private sector, there's amazing
Time, thank you. Mr. Garza.
I know the discussion and the topic of a health district, medical district has come up. And while that certainly has had many benefits for many counties across the state, I certainly think that that is a conversation that this community probably needs to have with our partners, but most importantly with the community, because at the end of the day, that would be an additional taxing entity. And I don't think the last thing many people want around here is taxes. But I will say this, it's also important that we look at the other things to be able to provide access to health care. And that is working with our partners to be able to create an environment where physicians want to come to Webb County, working with medical institutions to be able to bring in programs that are going to bring in doctors and residents. And this is the second time he's getting called out, but Dr. King, you know, one of those who came down for his residency and stayed here. We need more of those programs and to expand those programs to be able to have more of that in our community, to have access. But most importantly also is to create the quality of life that will attract these professionals into Webb County. That is a good start for all of us here in the county.
Thank you. Mr. Benavides, again, the question is hospital district or public-private partnership, which is the best path forward to improving access to health care?
So as your county judge, I think the question needs to be put out to the community. What does the community want and what does the community need? And I've heard that many people would like a hospital district. I've heard a lot of people want to have a pediatric center here, that's something that we should have is very critical. How many times have leaders failed to ask the questions to the public and put together the quorums of the professionals that really understand the business? I want to do something that is the right way to do something, not something that's going to burden you. Remember, you have a city that has a debt. LISD has a debt. UISD has a debt. Guess what? They strapped us with that debt. It's time to make changes, ladies and gentlemen. And if we need a hospital district, we will get one. And I'm the guy that's been telling you we need to look at this differently. It's got to be the port at Laredo. Not just Laredo, not just Webb County, but everything as it comes together and unify and have that strength to be able to succeed in this community.
Thank you. Mr. Reyes.
Well, thank you so much for that important question. And it's important for the people in the audience to really understand that we already have many private-public partnerships. You know, very important. We have the CEO of Laredo Medical Center here who does an amazing job at trying to recruit, you know, more healthcare professionals into our region. We have Gateway Health Clinics also doing an extraordinary job with the residency program. These are public partnerships that already exist that we can strengthen, that we can continue to support. And I may disagree on a lot of things, but I will agree with Mr. Benavides on one thing. It is important for us to ensure that whenever we talk about raising more tax revenue and putting an additional tax burden on the people, that we do our due diligence and we talk to people, include them in the decision-making process so they can make well-informed decisions on whether or not they want a new tax to help fund a county medical district. And with that, I think we can move toward getting a pediatric hospital here in our community.
Time. Thank you. All right, I'm assuming most people here care about public safety. Yeah. Okay, this question is going to go to Mr. Garza first. Webb County operates a county jail that's been in service for decades and faces both structural and operational challenges. In May of '25, almost a year ago, less than a year ago, the Texas Commission on Jail Standards issued a notice of non-compliance citing areas where the facility does not meet state standards. At the same time, it's often been noticed that a large percentage of the individuals in the jail population are experiencing mental health issues rather than serving sentences for violent crime. Given those realities, do you believe that Webb County needs a new jail, needs a new mental health facility, or some combination of the two?
Well, I certainly believe that at some point, the expansion of the jail or a new jail is going to be necessary. That's just the nature of a growing county. But I also want to remind everybody that that referendum was put before the voters not too long ago. And the voters decided that that was not a priority for them. And so I think that it is incumbent upon us to be able to find alternative solutions, to be able to deal with the overcrowding issue that you have at the jail. We know that a lot of those issues are related to mental health. And we need to work with our state and our federal partners to identify funding to be able to expand mental health programs, to be able to divert a lot of those inmates into those programs. But that is certainly something that future commissioners' courts are going to have to deal with. And we're going to have to find a solution, because we cannot have a jail that is in non-compliance, because we need to make sure that our streets are safe and that any harmful element is off the streets so that our families can be safe when they go out and about.
Thank you. Mr. Benavides.
This is, again, one other thing. Something else that's not working, something else that's broke, something else that hasn't been attended to by the current leadership that's there today. And I believe that the referendum failed for the lack of trust and how your money was going to be spent. I wholeheartedly believe that that's the facts. We need to bring a change to that leadership. You need to hold me accountable. That's how we'll have change. That's how you'll know that your dollars are being protected. That's how you will feel strength and knowing that the right people are in the job, so that the overwatch of your community and that safety is being held. And as far as it concerns with mental health, we need to be involved in that from the beginning. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I want to protect the kids before they go to jail. We need to work on teen programs for that future. That's how we make change.
Thank you. Mr. Reyes, again, the question is, does Webb County need a new jail, expanded mental health facility, or some combination of the two?
You know, I think it's evident that as Webb County continues to grow and as our population does so as well, that it will be, eminent that at one point in the near future that this discussion about a new jail will come forth before the voters once again. What's also eminent and concerning is that county jails across the entire state and across the country have become the sole treatment for the growing mental health crises in communities. That's alarming, that's concerning. And as county judge, I will not only seek out to ensure that we continue ongoing work with our partners that do so much here locally, many nonprofit organizations that tackle on this issue, but also start collaborating with our hospitals, with our business community as well, to seek out state and federal funding. And not only that, sometimes, if you know a thing or two about county government, is sometimes you'll need legislation to be passed to address local issues. So that's my commitment to the taxpayers.
Thank you. Ms. Elizondo.
What does the law say? The Texas Constitution and state law obligates, this is not an option, this is not about politics, the Texas Constitution mandates for the Webb County Judge and the Commissioner's Court to properly fund 3 things. This is mandatory. Everything else that the county collects taxes for is secondary. Primarily, the Texas Constitution states that we must properly fund our courts, the jail, and the sheriff's office. So this needs to be addressed immediately because, like I stated earlier, it's not an option. Mental health, in addition to, in a different topic, mental health, it's very critical. Most mental health units are understaffed and underfunded. We must address this immediately. Like I stated earlier about the jails, it is not an option. It is our moral and legal obligation to do what we're supposed to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, audience, now it's up to you. I have 2 questions left, but only time to ask one. So I'm going to let you choose which question you would like to hear. Would you like to hear a question on how these candidates would manage county finances under a new state law in the legislature that restricts what local governments can do? Or would you like to would you like for me to ask the candidates what examples of leadership across this country can they share that most resembles their leadership style? So by way of applause, county finances. And personal leadership. Personal leadership it is. All right, candidates. Under current Texas law, local governments must obtain voter approval to increase property tax revenues by more than 3.5%. During the next upcoming session of the legislature, Governor Abbott has stated that he would like to lower that voter approval threshold to possibly 1%, that you wouldn't be able to raise taxes more than 1% without getting approval from the voters. As county judge, how would such a change affect county spending, long-range planning, and the budget process? And Mr. Benavides, we're going to start with you.
It's probably the most challenging thing that's going to be in front of us, right? The county has a significant debt, but it has a significant surplus of monies. And how you are going to spend those monies is ultimately the bottom line on how that future is going to move for us. If we can utilize very tactical efforts to do what's necessary, I think the problem that we have as a community is we forgot to take care of the house. We're worried about the lawn or the car wash guy or doing something different. Every single one of you work hard and are concerned about how your money's being spent in this community. And how, for whatever reason, over the last 25 years, the Rio Grande Valley is flourishing and you guys have stayed the same. I will tell you that that is financial mismanagement. That's why that has occurred. Because this community has more lucrative dollars, both in oil and gas and transportation. This community should be twice as good as those communities. How is it possible that Mission...
Time, thank you. Mr. Reyes.
Yes. Well, over the course of these past 7 years as your county treasurer, I've not only had the opportunity to personally account for the county finances, so I can guarantee you there is no financial mismanagement. As a result, as your certified chief investment officer, not only have we grown our investment portfolio, you know, if you look at it in perspective, from 2004 to 2018, prior to me taking office in 2019, money generated from investments was about a little over 15 million. In the course of these past 7 years, I have generated Webb County over 40 million new dollars. That is the leadership that Webb County deserves, and that is what we're going to do. Now listen, as mayor, I know what it's like to, work with respects to setting the property tax rate. I am the only candidate that has actually done the truth and taxation calculation tax worksheet. So I do know the different levels of the tax rates, and I'm not sure where, some people are getting this misleading and false information, but in terms of lowering taxes, we need to do a better job, and I'm going to
Time.
for real property tax reform.
Ms. Elizondo, again, the question is, as county judge, how would that affect county spending, long-term planning, and the budgeting process?
Ladies and gentlemen, 5 years ago, you trusted me. You elected me to be your Laredo College Board of Trustees. And for those 5 years that you vested that trust on me, I have not raised taxes because I promised you that I was not going to do that because I'm a taxpayer myself. Every single dollar that it raises, it puts a burden on us. And it is important that you elect someone that keeps their promises, and I will do exactly the same thing. I currently sit on the building and on the Finance and Audit Committee, taking care of your dollars. I also sit on the building committee at Laredo College, and I'm very proud to say that despite pressure from different stakeholders, I remain true to yourselves because I will protect every single dollar. I will fight to keep taxes low, no increases. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Garza.
I think it's simple. I think that the county needs to learn how to budget like all families do. We rely on what we get, and that's all we use. But I will tell you, one of the things that I'm very passionate about, and one of the things that I will work with Commissioners Court when elected as your Webb County Judge, is to work on a countywide homestead exemption. That means electing the option that the state gives local governments and implement a homestead exemption. We get up to 20% that we can give our taxpayers back in a homestead exemption. I pledge to work with Commissioners Court to start the process of implementing a homestead exemption, thereby providing some relief to our taxpayers. I would also be an advocate of adopting the no new revenue rate and only relying on new growth and not on existing homeowners. Relying on that growth will force us to grow in the right way. Because if we can only rely on growth, then that's what we're going to do, and we're going to do it well. It's going to force us to get innovative, to be able to find third-party funding, to be able to
Time.
different revenue sources.
Thank you. So now we'll move to closing statements because all of you didn't allow me to ask my leadership question. Each candidate will have 60 seconds for a closing statement. This is your opportunity to briefly summarize your priorities and share any thoughts you have with the voters. I would ask that you make this closing statement with your fists closed so that no one can point any fingers. This is not a rebuttal period. Personal attacks, again, in reference to other candidates, are not permitted. The order of the closing statements is in the reverse order of how we began with opening statements. And time limits are enforced for the 60-second time period. So going in reverse order, Mr. Benavides, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Eddie. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing us to participate. And thank you to the thousands of people watching right now on the internet. I really appreciate this moment because I'm the guy that's ready to roll up my sleeves, get to work, scrub the budget, look item by item to make sure that your tax dollars get spent properly, that they're invested in the wisest way possible, and that we offer the services that you need, and that we take care of what's important, our youth, our families. That is what's critical. I have a vision. I've always had visions about what we can do. And that's what's important for us to keep the fire alive so that we can make Webb County #1 in Texas. Thank you. God bless you all.
Mr. Reyes.
Well, thank you so much once again for hosting this lively forum. My friends, Webb County is truly at a defining moment, and you've seen very different visions of what the future can look like. My vision is not to cause chaos and division. It's not to just comment on things and use political sound bites. It's not based on inexperience and knowledge of how county government works. It is based on real life results, delivering, serving with integrity, professionalism, and accountability. It is about making life a little bit easier and addressing the growing pains of many of our hardworking taxpayers. That's my commitment to you. I've been standing up and fighting for families and children my entire young adult life, and I'm not stopping now.
Thank you. Ms. Elizondo.
I have proven my leadership. I'm currently a Laredo College Board of Trustees, and I just want you to know that I am 40 years old, and I work for the government for 20 years. Half of my life, I have given it to serve you. I have proven leadership as stated at the college, and I just want to let you know one thing. I put my life on hold for 5 months ago to work this campaign because I believe that we deserve better. I believe that change is desperately needed. It is time that we stop engaging in politics because we will never get to where we need to go. And this needs to be done for our children, our future generations. And I have the courage and I have the intelligence and the strength to take us there because heart matters too. I have the heart and I have proven that.
Time. Thank you. Mr. Garza.
I have a message for everyone here and who are watching us out in cyber world. To the young couple who is just starting out, to the mom and dad who wake up every morning to try to get their kids ahead, to the family who is living paycheck to paycheck, and to the business owner looking to live the American dream. I understand the burden that you are living today. And I understand that many of you may have lost faith in government's ability to make your life a little bit better. I'm not just about bare minimums. I'm about expecting more and doing more. I'm the only one up here who has Commissioner's Court experience, who has passed agenda items, and worked with other entities. As your judge, I will lead by example, I will lead with respect, and I will lead with heart. And everything I do will be centered with your family, your finances, and your future.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. So, Plato once said, "Those to get involved in the political process are governed by those who do." And if we don't exercise our privilege to vote, then we're allowing people who are voting to make the decisions for us. So any society, any democracy, any republic works better when more people show up to vote because of the voice they have in wanting to speak on the future of their own community. We're delighted to have all of you here. The Laredo Chamber of Commerce is an organization that represents the job creators and the paycheck providers of the city of Laredo and all of Webb County in the private sector. Don't forget, early voting is February 17th and Election Day is March 3rd. But we're very proud at the Chamber to have been able to convene this gathering. Help me thank the candidates one more time. And before we finish, I want to invite the chair of the board of the Laredo Chamber, Rossi Chase to come up and give our closing comments.
Good evening, and thank you. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Laredo Chamber of Commerce, I would like to thank each and every one of the candidates for their time today, their participation, and their willingness to engage in a respectful and informative forum for our community. We also want to extend our appreciation to our moderator, Mr. Eddie Aldrete, for guiding us tonight's discussion with professionalism, balance, and to our chamber staff for their work in organizing this event, and most importantly, our executive director, Ms. Monica Martinez. Thank you to everyone in attendance and those joining us today via live stream. Civic engagement and informed participation are essential to a strong community, and we appreciate your interest in learning more about the candidates seeking to serve Webb County. As a reminder, the Laredo Chamber of Commerce does not endorse candidates for public office. Our role is to serve as a neutral convener and to provide opportunities for meaningful dialogue that help inform voters. Early voting and election day are approaching, so we encourage all eligible voters to make a plan to participate and to visit the Webb County Elections Office for official information on polling locations and voting hours. Local elections matter, and your voice is very important. This concludes the Webb County Judge Candidate Forum. We ask that all attendees please exit the venue in an orderly manner and respect the venue's policies. There will be no campaigning or distribution of materials inside the facility. Thank you again for joining us this evening. Thank you.